Guys, if you didn't know already, Diwali and Halloween are on the same day this year, so I couldn't decide if I should do a Halloween look for you guys or a Diwali look for you guys. Hey guys! Welcome back to yet another YouTube video. If you guys are new here, my name is Sanju and today I'm here with another clientele makeup tutorial. It's been a hot minute since I've been on YouTube. I'm very inconsistent on this page, I apologize. But today I'm going to show you one of my go-to favorite looks that I like to create on clients, but also a look that is super trendy right now and super requested by my clientele. And now that Diwali's around the corner, I suggest you save this video for your Diwali inspiration because honestly, this look slayed. I used a palette that I was so excited to use. It is the Patrick Ta Major Dimension Volume 3 palette. Oh my god, you guys. Patrick Ta has quickly become one of my favorite brands to go to for eyeshadows. The quality of the eyeshadows are just creamy, blendable, and I just love the neutral shades. Every look I create on clients using this palette or any palette from Patrick Ta, my clients just love their eye looks, and it's just because I don't find browns like this in other palettes. Essentially in this palette there are a bunch of warm nude brown shadows and then a bunch of cool tone brown shadows. You've got your black, you've got a white, and you have two cream products. I used the black today as a liner. But yeah, the look that I created today with this look is a smoky eyeliner look. I feel like this look is so modern but yet so timeless. I feel like it's probably a look that everyone will constantly want to wear to any occasion. Of course, you can take this look to the next level by adding a shimmer of your choice, but obviously for this look I just wanted to use products from this palette only, which is why I kept the look very matte. But yeah, if you want to see this matte smoky liner look that I created on my beautiful friend Faye, then just keep on watching. Starting off skincare with a toner, I'm using the Mediheal Vitamide brightening pads, and I'm just swiping a pad across her face and down her neck. I've been using this toner pad for the past few months in my daytime skincare routine, and I have to say I've really been loving how this product feels. I don't know if it's placebo, but I do feel as though my skin looks brighter and more glowier after using this product, and unlike most toners I've used, it doesn't dry out my skin. Next, I'm going in with the Body Shop Edelweiss Facial Moisturizer. I don't know if I said that name right, but we're gonna keep going. A lot of the time I don't like to overcomplicate my skincare routine by adding excessive serums and oils and whatnot. So on those days I just end up using this moisturizer as it works as an overall skincare product. It hydrates the skin and it doesn't weigh the face down. And finally, I'm adding the 43 Beauty Coconut Scented Lip Mask to her lips. I'm adding it now so that her lips will be nicely moisturized by the time it comes to adding any lip products. Alright, so I'm actually going to go in with some body shimmer before applying makeup. I'm using the Frank Body Magic Shimmer Oil, which I don't know if they still sell this. I hope they do, but a lot of people like to apply body shimmer as a final step after makeup is completed. However, I actually prefer applying it beforehand. The reason for this is that the undertone in body shimmer can sometimes lean more golden or even orange, which ends up clashing with the undertone of the foundations or other base products used. So by applying it first, I can match my foundation a lot more better to the neck and ensure that everything blends a lot more seamlessly. Recently I've been loving the underpainting technique as it helps ensure the base doesn't look too cakey. I use the Patrick Ta Cream Contour and Powder Bronzer Duo in the shade She's Sculpted and applied that with a brush underneath her cheekbones, on her temples, and on her jaw. I don't know if you can tell in the video, but I'm just blending this contour in an upwards direction. For foundation, I'm using the Makiage foundation in the shade 130, and I mixed a bit of the Too Faced Born This Way concealer in the shade Natural Beige just to lighten up that shade a little bit, and I just applied that with a spatula underneath the cheekbone contour. I love using the spatula here because it makes the cheekbone look so much sharper. Even after I blend it out, it just helps give that crisp look. But yeah, once I apply that foundation, I just use a foundation brush to just buff it into the skin. Just with that same foundation brush, I'm going to add some foundation to the other areas we did not cream contour, so the chin, the middle of the forehead, down the nose, the upper lip, and a little under the eyes. I'm just starting off with a little bit of foundation, just whatever's remaining on the brush, and then building up if I need to. I'm also making sure that I'm blending some of that foundation just on the edges of the bronzer, just so it looks a lot more seamless. Just with a beauty sponge, I'm going over the entire face just to make sure all the creams are blended in seamlessly and to ensure that there are no brush marks left on the skin. So I've added cream contour. Now I want to add some cream bronzer. I'm going in with this Colourpop No Filter Concealer in the shade Deep Dark 52, and I'm just applying this slightly above the contour on the cheekbones and then adding some to the temples. For cream blush, I'm using the Patrick Ta Cream and Powder Blush Duo in the shade She's Wanted, and I'm just applying that cream blush to her temples quite high and just blending that blush towards the apples of her cheeks. My placement of the blush is quite strategic as I'm trying to create more of a snatched, sharper look. And just to all my brown girls out there, you all need to invest in a berry toned blush. It really just complements our brown skin so well. So if you were to take one thing away from this video, get yourself a berry toned blush. Now you might have been wondering, did you just completely forget about concealer? I'm applying it now. I'm using the Too Faced Born This Way concealer in the shade Natural Beige. I'm just applying that to her under eyes with a large shader brush and then blending that out with a sponge. Just a little tip, if you want a bit more coverage with concealer, I would suggest just letting the concealer sit on the skin for a little bit before blending it out. I probably should have done that here, but I just forgot. But I still think it looked good regardless. I'm also just applying a bit of that concealer to her eyelids as a base for the eyeshadows. Now to set it all in place, I'm using the Fenty Beauty Loose Setting Powder in the shade Cashew. I'm just applying the product into her skin on the under eyes with a powder puff and then applying any leftovers to her eyelid. I'm also just applying a light layer of that powder all over her face. Usually with loose powder, I would just add it to her under eye and maybe underneath the contour, but I feel like with this particular loose setting powder, you can kind of see a difference in the skin from where you applied the product and where you don't. I don't know how to explain it, but the powdered area just looks more matte than the other areas. Just using the powder bronzer from the Patrick Ta Bronzer Duo in the shade She's Sculpted, and I'm just using that to set and deepen all the areas we've cream contoured and bronzed. I'm also doing a little nose contour by taking that product on a dense, small and slightly flat brush and just running it along the sides of her nose, and then just cleaning that up with the loose powder that we used. For blush, I'm just going in with that powder blush from the Patrick Ta Blush Duo that we used, but be very careful with this product because it is pigmented. I'm not sure if you guys noticed throughout my makeup application, but I always go in with a small amount of product before adding in more product, just because it is easier to add more product than it is to take away product. if that makes sense. Now I'm going to use a liquid highlighter. This is the Australis Liquid Strobe highlight in the shade Pink, and I'm just applying that over the top of that blush with a beauty sponge, making sure to focus it on the higher points of her cheek. I'm also just applying a little bit of that highlight to the nose. Okay, moving on to the star of the show, the Patrick Ta Major Dimension Volume 3 palette. Oh my god, I was so excited when I received this palette to use it because, oh my god, this is just so beautiful. This is an all matte eyeshadow palette with both warm toned and cool toned neutral shades. It has 2 creams and 10 powder shadows. It also has a black and a bone colored eyeshadow, which I think are shades that you must have in your makeup kit. So firstly, I'm going in with a mixture of the shades Needed and Essential, and I'm just applying that with a fluffy blending brush to the outer corners of her eyes and just dragging that shade into her crease. Also, right about now my lighting becomes a little bit messy, so I apologize in case that throws you off. I'm just adding a little bit of the shade Crucial on a more precise blending brush, and I'm just using that shade to slightly deepen up the outer corner. I'm then diffusing that with a fluffy blending brush. And like I mentioned earlier in this video, I always like to work with little products and then add more if I feel like I need to. It's always easier to add product than it is to remove product. With that same precise blending brush, I'm going to add a bit of the shade Fundamental, and I'm blending that close to the lash line and then diffusing that shade with a blending brush. And if I feel like I've blended too much away, I'll just add a bit more and then continue the blending cycle. And you might think, damn, you're blending way too much. I just feel like the more you blend, the more seamless your eyeshadow looks, but it also just creates a more even gradient with all the other shades on your eyes. But yeah, I'm going to include as many segments of this process as possible just so you guys can fully understand what goes into creating this look for me. But I'm pretty much just adding the darker brown shades to her outer lash line and then diffusing it out with some of that lighter brown shadows. So yeah. Now I'm going to add a little smoky liner. I'm going to start off by using the shade Irreplaceable, which is the black shadow in this palette, and with an angled liner brush I'm going to lightly apply that to the lash line and slightly flick it out. And just to smoke it out a little, I'm going to use a small shader brush to just blend out that liner. Sometimes if I have times, I like to do this technique as it creates a bit of a guidance for eyeliner, and by using shadows, if I mess up the liner, I can just diffuse that shadow away, as you can see me doing right now. Now I'm applying the shade Impressive, which is that black cream product in this palette, and I'm just applying a super thin line along her lash line with the same angled brush. The reason why I add a thin line is because I end up blending out that cream, and as I blend that out, I'm just dragging out the line to create a soft flick. I'm doing this little trick where I use my finger and just lightly pull along the ends of that wing, and it just creates this natural point to the wing. I'm just going over that lash line with that cream black just to deepen and intensify that liner. And just a quick side note, whilst this cream product is great, it doesn't really beat my Inglot gel liner that I typically use when creating eyeliner. That product is just very intense, and I can always just rely on how well that eyeliner will stay on the eyes. I'm just applying some loose powder with the powder puff we used earlier, and I'm just going to press some powder underneath the wing of the liner just to sharpen it and make it look cleaner. Now, I probably should have done this step before eyeliner, but I'm gonna do it now anyways. I went into the shades Mandatory and Classic and just applied those to the inner parts of the eyelids just to brighten it up a little bit. I'm just going to tightline by adding that black cream to her upper waterline. I'm just going to set that cream with some of the black eyeshadow, and then I'm going to do the same to her lower waterline. I'm just adding a bit of the shade Fundamental closely to her lash line. Do you hear that? Bruh. And then taking a clean blending brush, I'm going to diffuse that shade with a mixture of Kneaded and Classic. For mascara, I'm going to use the Natio Waterproof Lengthening Mascara. If I'm being honest, I'm not really too particular when it comes to mascara, especially since I'm using false lashes. I just use it to coat the eyelashes, making sure that they are dark, as sometimes eyeshadow fallout can lighten the lashes. The only thing I do really want in a mascara is for it to be waterproof, because you just can never know what will happen once you go out with your makeup on. It may start raining or you may get emotional, and if that does happen, your makeup better stay on. I'm going to add on some half lashes to the outer ends of her lash line. This is the Model Rock half false lashes in the style Miss Fabulous. I love these lashes. If you want that cat eye or foxy eye effect without doing too much, these are the lashes for you. And if you are someone who isn't really too confident when it comes to falsies, but you want something that is beginner friendly, lightweight, and will make a statement, then you really need to try these falsies. Alright, now that we are done with the eyes, I'm going to go over some of the areas on the face that I felt like needed a little touch up. So I'm just touching up the blush and the bronzer. And then for highlight, I'm going to use the Makeup by Mario highlight in the shade Golden, and I'm just going to apply that to the high points of her cheek, down her nose, and then on the inner corners of her eyes. Oh my god guys, we are so close to the end. For lips, I'm starting off by lining her lips with the NYX Suede Lip Liner in the shade Cold Brew. Apparently NYX recently reformulated this shade. I don't know why they did that, because this was one of my favorite shades as a brown girl. But I digress. I'm using the old formula in this video, so I apologize if you can't find this exact shade anywhere else. There's a girl on TikTok who's actively trying to find the dupe for the old formula. Anyways, Faye's lips is already quite full, so I'm just tracing around her natural lip line with the pencil and then filling in the edges with that lip liner.
And now I'm just going straight in with a gloss. I'm using the NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Praline over her entire lip. The combination of the lip liner and this gloss is just French kiss. Oh god, I lied. Now we are close to the end. I almost forgot to do brows, you guys. I'm just using the black pomade in the BH Cosmetics Ultimate Brow Palette, and just with an angled brush, I'm using that to create hair-like strokes. I'm also using a spoolie to just blend the pomade into the brows before setting the cream with the darkest powder from that palette. And then I'm going to set the brows in place with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Clear Brow Gel. Finally, I'm setting the entire face with the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Setting Mist, and voila! We are done! I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please leave a big thumbs up on this video. If you have any recommendations on what you'd like to see next, please leave a comment down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!